So, Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know how to start this.
You mean just general intro?
Yeah, totally, man. Generic intro, it's impossible to fucking understand. How do people come up with these things? Anyways, welcome back if you're joining us. This is the second episode. But, yeah.
Long-lived series.
Yeah, of the long-lived series. So, Jack, I have the numbers on our first podcast. We sold 0 copies.
Well, considering it's free, and, yeah, I wouldn't expect to.
Jack,
so, numbers are on track.
I'm letting you know, we're gonna have to make some budget cuts.
Oh, no.
Because, we didn't sell any copies. So, this is gonna be a problem. We're gonna have to fire you. But you're still gonna have to work for us.
Oh, well, shit.
Like,
wait,
you won't be getting paid. You won't be anywhere on our company, like, anywhere. But you still need to work for us.
Hold up. That means you owe me some mad ducats for that first podcast, then. Because I didn't get paid for that either.
Jack, we sold so little copies, 0 to be in fact, that you owe us money.
Well, shit. Standard uploading fees imposed by YouTube and such.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like the Apple thing where they charge you like $100, to get your app on the App Store. Like,
yeah,
you're costing us a lot of money here.
And
that was like a 2-hour podcast, dude. That's like $200,000.
It probably took like the internet gnomes a long time to carry that down the tubes.
Dude, man, like, I had to fucking get new internet gnomes to upload that. Like, it was impossible.
And YouTube does have to pay the heroes now too.
Yeah, that is true. Apparently,
to mass flag all of our content.
Yeah, apparently they realized people don't want to do people's jobs for free. Except you. You are forced into this.
Well, shit.
It's by contract.
Slavery, then.
It's not slavery.
Also, if you'd think, like, if I was smart enough to have, like, a contract, I'd be smart enough to have, like, a stipulation that I get paid in there.
Yeah, see, this is why you gotta read your contracts. Alright.
That's what I get for training a Labrador Retriever to do it for me.
Yeah, well, actually, that's pretty impressive. Why did you fucking hop on our ship if you can train Labradors to read contracts?
Well, that's a good question.
Actually, I see why, because you didn't train them good enough.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is BOE Podcast, for whatever week it is. It's the week before Christmas. It's the Steam sale week. There we go. We talked about games, as you can clearly tell.
And we can't talk about whatever's on the front page of Steam because we can't see that.
Yeah, it's impossible. Actually, I got it to load. It's not like anything matters. It's a bunch of negative numbers next to a bunch of positive numbers and smaller positive numbers.
So you're saying Steam is now paying you to download their games?
Yes.
That's what I got out of that. So let's be real though, it's still better than last year's.
Probably?
Do you not you don't remember?
Didn't they like lose like you could get like people's like last 4 digits of their like credit card or something like that?
Yeah, what was happening is it was something was screwed up with not like their servers, but like I think it's like authentication or something like that. So you'd go to the store and you'd be in the store and everything would be great, except it would think your account was just some random person's account.
Yeah, it would randomly log you into somebody's, and then you could like navigate from.
Yeah. So for some reason, like, I was on and I was like, huh, that's weird. Why is the price all in like rubles?
Are you telling me you didn't move to Russia?
No, I didn't. The currency should be in schmeckles, as it always is.
Schmeckles?
Yeah, schmeckles.
That's a foreign currency.
Yep, it is.
So I guess we should start it the way we've always started. What you been playing, boy?
Dota. So much goddamn Dota.
Yeah, Dota's been real fun.
7.0 is dope as shit, and I bet I'm having a much better experience than most people are.
Probably.
Because I refuse to play with other human beings. Just because, I don't know, my thing with MOBAs is I love the gameplay. I love playing it so much, but I hate the people who play it.
Yeah. Like with MOBAs, like the only MOBA that has ever been able to be like, alright, I'm just gonna play by myself and play against people, that's been Heroes of the Storm.
I mean, even Heroes, like, I have currently almost 300 hours in Dota 2, and I would be shocked if over 50 of them were with, like,
people.
More than one other human being.
Yeah. No, I'll do... So they kind of screwed up co-op matchmaking, because, like, yeah. I'm at the level where, like, I can, deal with unfair bots and things like that. Oh,
sure, yeah.
But, like... I can't queue up for, like, say anything past this level, so, like, if I want it to be, like, easy or easy to unfair, so then I can queue up with,
whoever shows up.
Exactly, because I don't care, I just want to get into a match.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, like, why, like, most of the bots, if, like, you're not brain dead and have played a MOBA before, you can handle pretty much everything up to hard, I'd say.
Yeah.
I can no problem handle everything up to unfair. I struggle with unfair, I will admit, but it's
unfair.
It's literally unfair because the bots get extra gold and all that shit.
Extra gold experience, and I think they have full map vision.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that is very unfair. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
so I'm not quite that good, and sometimes if I'm playing a character I'm particular weak, I'll struggle with hard. But that's like if I'm doing something like, oh, let's see how my Wind Ranger carry is today. Pro tip, it's not very good.
Mine is like, if I get a new hero that, hasn't been in the game since, like, the original, like, I'm fucked.
Right.
Like, fucking, so, I played Arc Warden, I was just like, oh god, what am I doing?
So, speaking of new heroes, did you try out Monkey King?
I did when I first launched up Dota 2 to see the changes before our last podcast, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, he can, like, hop on trees and shit and fuck the boss over.
So, it got absolutely ridiculous. It got to the point where I didn't have that many items farmed. I had maybe, like, what's it called? Not Maelstrom, but the thing before Maelstrom, Mjolnir. No, I got that backwards.
Other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I had like Maelstrom and like Ring of Aquila, and with his ult, I was still able to 1v5 the enemy team. It was nuts.
Yeah, there's some carries where you just, if you get enough levels and gear, you can just outdo everything.
I will say, I think part of it is like, he's a pretty wacky character, and I think a lot of times the AI doesn't know what to do with it.
Oh no, like when you hop on trees,
yep,
like fucking the AI will just stand there and be like, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you.
We're gonna get you.
And only ranged heroes, like people with ranged auto attacks, will actually attack him when he's on trees.
I think only range can attack him when he's on trees.
Well, no, like ranged abilities, like they won't use those to attack you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it's just like, I'm gonna get you. But yeah, they be sneaky sneakies.
I am really looking forward to the troll videos that are gonna come out of Monkey King with the transform thing, which I love.
Oh yeah.
I think we talked a little about this last time, but I love meta abilities like that.
Oh,
that affect like how the game is played.
Oh yeah, no, meta abilities are fun as fuck.
I know. We were talking about when we were playing.
Yeah.
And you with the sign for the mines.
Yeah, sign for freaking techies.
Yeah, for techies. I love meta gameplay elements like that.
It's so great because this sign, when you get Agamemnon's Scepter, gets upgraded, and it just it gives it blocks it from being seen with true vision. So now you got to be like, are there actually mines there, or is he just fucking me over?
Well, I mean, at that point, you have to just get Shadowblade and never be seen by the enemy team, so they can't confirm whether or not you have Ags.
Just throw down mines, all of them in one spot, and just wait for the entire enemy team to come across it. You'll win.
So, techies did get a pretty big nerf because of silly things like that, didn't they?
Yeah, it used to be you could clump up the mines, if I remember correctly. Like, you could clump up the mines.
Okay, but now they have, like, a box.
Yeah, now you can only do those with one of your mines. Like, your basic Q mines, I think you use... I know in original Dota that you could, like, clump them up better. So when people would walk towards them, you could get first blood super easily.
Okay,
because they'd like walk into the shop with, and they just all of them would blow up.
Right. Well, techies they are one of that example of meta gameplay where, like, not all of his like mechanics, like, don't get me wrong, they do matter, but like so much of it is just that mind game, and that's what's really compelling. I love stuff like that, like Nosdormu in Hearthstone. It's just so dumb. It's great.
Hey, let me give you 8 seconds to complete your turn. I've been playing some more Hearthstone, like again more Hearthstone, and it's getting to the point where I get really infuriated. Because I'm just like, you fucking net decking son of a bitch.
I mean, that's why I get to 20, then I just play with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't have one of those. So, you know, trying to fucking, you know, just play on my own, it's just infuriating. But
yeah, I can see that. Or like, I don't know, I feel like it just helps to just embrace the silliness inherent in that game a lot of times and just make the decks you think are fun.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm doing. Like, that's the fun thing. But it's just like when you come across a net deck, you're
there's that frustrating where it's like, oh look,
I know all your moves and I can't really do much about them.
Yeah, it's alright. N'Zoth's first mate into whatever the
patches.
The Dock Master is into patches.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, I haven't come across Pirate Warrior like at all. But man, I keep, you know, from what I've heard,
but I see the memes.
I see the memes. That's all that matters. But see, here's the thing. I know Pirate Warrior exists. I know people are really mad about it. But I've never come across it, like, at all. So
I've also never come across Pirate Warrior.
It's so weird. So either the memes lied to me, which that's never gonna happen, or Pirate Warrior's so good, people are just super high rank. So now I'm just like, I'm contemplating. I'm at the construction, deck construction screen. I'm just like, do I want to do this? Like, do I really want to do this?
One of the things I will say about Pirate Warrior that I do like is some of the basic stuff is like so simply reliable that I feel like you can build a lot of different decks around it. Because you do just need that like super early game filled out. Yeah. Then, like, I don't know, I feel like you could build a lot of dumb shit around the extra stuff and hope that the bullshit beginning will carry you.
Yeah, hopefully. But
because I see so many times when, you know, watching online when people play against Pirate Warrior, if you can survive like those first 4 or 5 turns, you're very likely going to win, just because Pirate Warrior doesn't have a lot of card draw and doesn't have a lot of control. It's got face.
It's a super aggro deck, but like if you get like the Dream Start, which is apparently really easy to get, it's you know, face dead, you know, it's one of those things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely think there's nerfs in the future. I think they're gonna nerf the damage bonus to what's it called? I can never remember the card's name. The one that gets +2 when you have a weapon equipped.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna nerf that in particular.
I think they might nerf patches to summon him from your hand when you play a pirate, maybe.
I honestly think that would be the nerf that they're gonna make, if anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from what I see, patches is like, it just exacerbates an existing problem, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you could just slow it down just the tiniest bit in one way or another, I think that might make it a little better.
Yeah, but it is nice to see Blizzard actually doing more card gamey stuff within Hearthstone. You know, like, grab this thing from your deck, you know. They had the Discover mechanic, which was cool, but, you know, they didn't have anything like, grab these cards from your deck, you know, nothing where you could search.
Sure. Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what they wanted with the Discover mechanic, is something like that. I feel like the reason they didn't include a search through your deck is maybe just because the deck size is so small comparatively, you know?
But it's so small, so they just bring up, you know, the list, and then you click on the card you want.
Also, it's entirely possible that they just can't program it yet.
I mean, possibly. Who knows? You know?
Bobby Blizzard knows.
Yeah, Bobby Blizzard. CEO of Blizzard.
So, the funny thing I find about the current meta is we're talking about decks that are either super, super fast, like Pirate Warrior, or they're super, super slow. Like, I find, with the exception of maybe Rogue, Jade Druid is super slow. Buff Paladin is so slow. I love it, but it's slow.
The funny thing is, with the Dream deck, I destroy both of those. The things I have trouble with are any other decks, like fucking Freeze Mage, a fucking annoying.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Just like cause like it gets to that in-game point, you know, and you can't do anything because they just keep freezing your characters, destroying them, or doing something. Rogue is super annoying though.
Oh yeah,
like, it's just like destroy this enemy minion for like 5 mana.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh cool, that was a 10.
They have a lot of answers to things.
Yeah,
but I mean I feel like that's kind of the point of Rogue is that they can get that, but they tend to burn through their cards quickly as a kind of counter to that.
Yeah, but then they have ways to not. It's I don't know, whatever.
Rogues, I do like another one of the kind of meta strategies that I love the Mill Rogue.
Yeah, I want to make a Mill deck like real bad because I saw one of those and I'm like, I want this.
So the only slight criticism I'd say is you almost need to have Gang Up.
Yeah.
For a workable one, just to have the extra cards in your deck. But beyond that, all you really need is like Cold Light Oracles, Youthful Brewmasters, then the rest is taken care of, I think, mostly by basic cards.
Yeah, basically. But like the weird thing is there's not a lot of like opportunities for Mill in this game as, you know, compared to Magic.
Oh, sure. The Mill is also less ridiculous. I've mentioned before that I had a card that was like every time this card attacks, the defender discards 20 cards.
Yeah, no, I remember that card. It's like a faceless one or something, whatever they call it in Magic.
Type thing, yeah.
Well, no, it's not. They discard. It's like they put the top 20 cards of their deck into exile, and it's just like, oh fuck. But yeah.
Yeah, I had a deck built around that. Let's see. Let's look it up. Magic.
But what else have you been playing?
Just Dota. A little bit of Hearthstone. Like I said, I've been loving that buff paladin.
Yeah. Have you been playing any Overwatch?
I have not played Overwatch. I should.
I got back into Overwatch, and it's just been nothing but fun.
So my thing with Overwatch is when I play with friends, I have a goddamn ball, but I get so frustrated when I play by myself.
Yeah, I completely get that. And it's really hard
it's
for
just
me
like,
to play by myself.
Even when I'm playing with one other person, you at least have that thing of course you're going to be on the team where nobody's going to choose support.
Yeah.
And when you're with a buddy, you can at least kind of trade off with your buddy to guarantee that your team has a support.
Yeah.
But when you're by yourself, it's like, well, looks like I'm going to play Lucio for the 5th game in a row.
Yeah, so the Overwatch update happened, Christmas stuff. Tracer has a freaking dumb skin. Makes her look like an elf. And
that's fun.
The new comic came out, and they just kind of were like, hey, we haven't caused any controversy yet. Tracer's gay.
Oh, well, okay.
So, like, that was the thing. They were just like, Tracer's gay. So they kind of just, like, slid that in there. But nobody cares. Like, I have seen, like, people, like, try to make a big deal out of it. Like, where they're like, fucking gamers, they hate the gays. And literally, I have seen absolutely nothing, like, anybody caring. The only person I've seen who actually gives a shit about this was, what is his face? McIntosh. The guy who runs Feminist Frequency.
Oh.
Jonathan McIntosh. He was just like, oh, well, they did this, but they did it just because, they couldn't make a gay person. They had to make a lesbian, so then males would just have fun looking at him. It's just like, oh my God, please stop.
So nobody can have any fun ever.
Yeah, he's just one of those nobody can have any fun ever type of people, and no matter what you do, even if it's what I told you to do, it's wrong. But he's the only one who was actually butthurt about it, that I've seen anywhere on the internet. It spawned some pretty spicy memes, because, was it iDubbbz, had this thing where he's in, like, the full, like, green, suit, like, skin suit.
Oh, the morph suit.
Yeah, one of those morph suits.
Yeah.
And he, like, jumps off a counter and goes, I'm gay! So then, like, people...
Oh, yeah.
So people have, like, put tracers, because it kind of looks like that. They put tracers, like, her heroic intro, and as soon as she, like, flips over, it just cuts to iDubbbz, and he's like, I'm gay!
That's great!
It's so good! I'm like, did they do this on purpose? It's, like, the best. But, the Overwatch update happened. The comic's really good. I always like their comics. Their comic reader is absolute garbage.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, well, like, it's not the worst, but it's bad. They can tell it's an afterthought.
So now that I'm thinking about this, I'm waiting for like Games Media to leak the video of Overwatch putting lipstick on in the mirror, and saying, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me, while wearing TF2's skin, while my place in the background. Like, think about it. Colorful cast of characters with all unique styles of gameplay, where the online multiplayer only, with colorful, humorous shorts to detail their character, and now comics. Overwatch just wants to be TF2. And I will give them credit, they're very good at being TF2.
Dude, I like Overwatch way more than TF2.
Oh, yeah, there's things I love about both. I admit I cannot be biased about TF2 in the slightest, because it holds such a special place in my heart.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it does for, like, a lot of people. I think that was, like, the first game I got on Steam, because
the Orange
TK
Box
was playing it. And it wasn't even the orange box. TK was playing. I was like, hey, that game looks real fun. And then he's like, yeah, you just need to create this account, and then I'll give you a copy. So I have, like, this was when they were still charging money for it.
Oh, yeah,
like, it was like $10. But yeah. But I like Overwatch a lot. I like the kind of combining of like MOBA-y type stuff into like a shooter. I think it works really well, and I think they stay true to like their shooter roots.
One thing I think that works kind of well is, this is going to sound weird at first, but I think TF2, or at least when I was super big into it, was slightly more balanced than Overwatch. But
the
thing is that just meant so many TF2 games were like forever long stalemates.
Yeah.
Like 2 Fort, constant stalemates every single time. Don't get me wrong, I had an absolute blast with them.
Oh yeah, no, they were super fun. What I ended up doing was I'd go on a server that didn't have like a capture limit. It was just, go off and kill people. And that was it. Like that's all you did on that server, because the amount of like intelligence you had to capture was 200. Yeah.
Yeah, like games a ridiculously
you
insane
just leave
limit.
whenever you wanted to, and do all this fun stuff. But yeah, so I've been playing some Overwatch. That's been fun. They have a special Mei mode now, where you only play as Mei and you go pat pat pat, and you launch snowballs at people, and it's pretty good. I like it. Yeah, it's pretty good. The only frustrating thing is you don't have a melee in that mode, so once you fire off your one snowball, you're running around trying to find a pile of snow so you can shoot off another snowball, but you really kind of have to like look down while getting the snow. It's like super weird.
So it's almost like what is it, Golden Gun mode?
Yes. Yeah, it's almost like that. Yeah. Which,
side note, that reminds me, that game, GoldenEye, holds up horrifically.
Yeah, it's fucking awful.
Like, holy shit, I think that is the worst aged game I have ever played.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's some games that have aged really poorly, but I don't think, like, that they were that popular to begin with.
Sure, yeah.
Like, Contra really doesn't, like, hold up all too well.
Ooh, really? I think Contra holds up awesome. I love me some Contra.
See, the thing is, it doesn't hold up too well because you gotta put in that Konami code. Otherwise, you're just sitting there like, fuck, well, I'm dead. Alright, game over. But yeah, like, Contra is, like, a good game, but it's, like, one of those things where it's just, like, its age shows.
I think its age shows, but I don't think it shows in the same way, I'd say. So when you go back, when you go back and play Contra, you're still playing Contra more or less as you did when it first came out, with a similar level of enjoyment, I feel like. But now we've had shooters with good controls, so going back to the N64 controller with the GoldenEye controls, you're like, oh god, who designed these controls? Why does this controller make me seem like I'm a retarded chimpanzee?
Dude, it's impossible to tell.
And the frustrating part is the mechanics are, like, when you can actually aim and stuff, are super solid. Like, there's a GoldenEye Source, which, is GoldenEye and the Source engine with mouse and keyboard and all that fun stuff. And that is really, really fun.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm just too lazy to get it. Just, like, can't be bothered.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing is the map design is terrible.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't designed with multiplayer in mind. Multiplayer was an afterthought. As has been admitted, I think, by Rare multiple times. They didn't expect multiplayer to be popular.
Yeah, it was weird because, like, there's, we're in a really, like, hyper-focused multiplayer type, thing where you can release games like Overwatch that have no single player modes at all whatsoever.
Speaking of which, I feel really bad about Titanfall 2.
Yeah, I do too. Like, I've heard it's really good.
Yep.
And they had the multiplayer only, and people were like, man, we don't want that game. That game sucks. It only has multiplayer. There's no single player. And they're like, we have single player too now. And then everyone's like, no one gives a shit about your single player Titanfall 2. Go back home, Grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hear the single player campaign is awesome, and I hear it's really, really fun. And I would love to be able to buy it, but I don't want Titanfall 1 to happen again, because I got Titanfall 1, I had a blast with it, then everybody stopped playing it.
That's honestly the reason what's happening is they just got so much, kind of bad press, negativity, whatever you want to call it, with Titanfall 1, that just people can't be bothered. Like, you shouldn't make sequels to games that are flops.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to want to go back and play them. Like, if you make a sequel that, like, is a flop, that's fine, because the next sequel, people will be like, well, 1 was really good, 2 was really bad, hearing 3 is really good.
Sure.
People will go back as long as there's one good game in the series.
Oh, yeah.
But if that series, or if that one good game is number 2, it's a really hard sell.
I'm along those lines, I'm also very curious how well Watch Dogs 2 did.
Yeah, I'm really curious, because I've heard really good things about Watch Dogs 2.
I hear it's just an absolute blast, and they got everything that they got wrong, they got right.
Yeah. I know the podcast I listen to, the Giant Bomb podcast, they've been talking about it for the last, like, 2 podcasts that I've listened to.
Yeah, I know Total Biscuit was talking about it, and he was a big fan as well.
Yeah, it just seems like it's one of those kind of, like, sleeper games where, it's a really solid game, but the first one just got so much negativity that people can't be bothered to, like, even if they hear really good things, they just don't want to be bothered to, invest $60 and be like,
that's part of the big thing is I think this is just kind of a crack showing in the AAA market.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know how much money was spent on, Watch Dogs 2 or Titanfall 2, because those are both AAA games from AAA studios,
Mm-hmm.
And it's their second flop in that same series.
Yeah. It's...
Like, that's gotta hit hard.
Well, it's been a problem, like, you look at games that even, like, sell well, like, I think it was one of the Tomb Raider games. I think it was the, like, Rise of the Tomb Raider or whatever.
Which I completely missed that it even came out, and I really liked the first one, too.
I really loved the first one. It was great. It reminded me of playing, like, Tomb Raider, like, the first time around. It was a very, like, new experience to me.
Yeah, my experience was it, and this is kind of a little pithy and a little facetious, but I think the best way to describe it is it's Uncharted with boobs.
I see nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I see nothing wrong with it. It's pretty accurate.
I need to get on the Uncharted series. I need to start that. I have all 4 games. And a PS4. I just have not gotten to play it. Instead, I've been playing a bunch of dumb games on the PS4. And oh boy, you know how I was telling you about The Last Guardian, where, people are like, man, the dog sometimes just doesn't, like, pay attention to you and doesn't do what you're going to do. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm an hour in, the dog does what I want it to. Eventually, you get to the point where you have to tell the dog what to do.
Yeah.
The dog just doesn't do things anymore.
So, I hear, like, 2 things from people who talk about this. Is people are either like, man, I try and get that dog to do something, doesn't do what I want. It's the best. It's so realistic. It's just like having a little pet.
I'd rather kill myself.
And then there's the people that be like, it's the worst. He doesn't do what you want him to do.
It's the worst. Because you sit there, I don't want a pet. I have 2 dogs that are as dumb as that dog, and they don't pay attention to me. I don't need a 3rd one.
So the frustration that I heard some people complaining about is because of the way the control system works, is there's a lot of times where you don't know if the dog's not doing what you want it to do because it's just being the dog and that's what the dog does. And they can't tell between that and they're just not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem is.
Yeah, it's been getting frustrating like that. What happens is that when you give the dog a command, it will try to do it, but it's trying to parse what you're, telling it to do. And the control scheme of controlling the dog is really bad.
I have heard, like, that stuff is just legitimately awful and outdated.
Your character is the worst part about that game. Like, you control wonky, your animations are really weird, and, like, when you're giving controls, you kind of, like, jog in place, you point with your finger, and then you, like, do a symbol. Well, that's not very accurate. Like, if they'd allowed me to be like, I want to control the dog, like, let's say, I want the dog to do this. So I hit the button, I then swap to the dog. I can see my character doing all that dumbass running in place and pointing, and as I'm controlling the dog manually. So then, like, I could, like, if I want him to jump up on a ledge, so I can climb up on his fucking back and then, get on that ledge to progress the game, I want to be able to control the dog, hit the jump on the ledge button, and then see my character making, all the, like, running, pointing, and, clapping symbols that he does.
Sure.
Hit the button, switch to my character, and then walk up the dog, and then, the dog goes back to being its normal AI mode.
So what it sounds like what the problem is for the control scheme is how you want the game to work is you want to press a button to turn left rather than press a button to turn a wheel to turn left. There's just that extra layer of things happening that is unnecessary and not fun.
So it's like if the only way I could tell you how to do something is by pointing and, like, making a hand motion, and you could kind of, like, guess what I'm doing, with that. But then, the AI can get confused because it's like, well, you pointed that direction, that's a little bit off of, my general pathing that I want, that the solution is. So
looks like I'm gonna jump off the cliff.
I'm gonna try, I'm gonna fail, and then I'm just gonna go back to being my AI self. Whereas it would have been a lot better if they actually gave you control over the dog and you could see the, little human guy, making all those gestures as you press those buttons.
Yeah.
So as you press the button to, like, jump up or, climb, you could see him, making the jump symbol, with his hands, or, making the, climb up symbol.
So what I always hear from a bunch of people who have been playing and have mostly liked it, except for little niggles like the controls, is that they can't wait for the remastered version in 5 years.
Don't think that's gonna help. Like, the frame rate's really, like, shitty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's for the frame rate to get better, and somebody will be like, maybe we should fix these controls, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but, like, are they going to, though?
I mean, with this, I feel like this game has been getting enough reviews to definitely, like, keep on doing at least well. And I know a lot of people who are very excited for this game.
Yeah, they've been super excited. Like, I'm not doubting that, but it's just like, all the reviews have been middle of the road, and they spent 9-10 years, and they had a bunch of Sony developers, come in and do the work on it. Like, they had Sony help them make this game.
Honestly, from what I've been seeing, is it seems like the reviews are less middle of the road, and people either love it or they hate it.
That's fair enough, I guess.
And it just averages out to middle of the road.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. But been playing that, been getting real frustrated at it. There was a part where you have to, like, climb down and then not be seen by, like, these rotating statues. Otherwise, they'll, like, pick you up and try to diddle you. Because, you're a small child. What else are you going to do with a small child that, is running around your ancient temple? Obviously, the guards are going to diddle him. But I landed, and I landed too far, so then I started walking with a limp, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it past this light. But I still have to open that door, which requires me to pull the thing, and it takes forever. So, I spent, 10 minutes running around, not being diddled, getting caught, pressing the anti-diddle buttons so I could get away, pull the thing just ever so slightly, so, and then I see my dog and I'm like, oh, good, it's swiping underneath the door because it really doesn't like these diddle bots, and it's swiping underneath the door. I'll be able to, not be diddled. So, I try to, kite the things there, and, occasionally one of them would die because the dog swiped, but then I had to keep just running around in a circle, or going all the way back, all the way forward, trying to open up the door more. Oh no, the diddlebot caught me. Mash all the buttons to not get diddled.
So that definitely sounds less like we intended this, intentional obfuscation, and that just sounds like bad design, honestly.
Yeah, that was a poorly designed area if you got caught out before you opened the door.
Because, you know what the end result is going to be eventually, is going to be that, Trico is going to swipe the guards and kill them.
Right. Well, the thing is,
so why add the extra 5 minutes of you running around like you're a jackass?
Well, it's not supposed to happen like that. It's supposed to be you get there, you open the door. As soon as you open the door, the guards spot you, and then Trico fucking runs around swiping the people. The thing was, I got caught way before then because I just fucked up, and
sure, but
I couldn't open the door all the way. So he's being a cute old dog and trying to squeeze his head under and swipe. And it's just not working as well as, that. And I can't get it. So eventually I just ran out, positioned myself behind Trico, and then I just walked away. And I was just, I hoped that they would be dead by the time I got back from, the kitchen.
See, but the thing is,
they weren't. So I came back and I had to run around and try to open the door more. That didn't work. Get them around. All right, Chico hit one of them. All right, whatever.
It's not like that was a weird, unique situation where you're like, how the fuck did that happen? That's something that could reasonably happen pretty quickly and easily to a large number of people. And that would be, I'm guessing most people would have a similar instinct for how to take care of it.
Yeah. I don't know if they were just like, oh, well, if they, fail this thing, and they'll just, not try to open the door, they'll just have it hard reset on them, with being diddled by the diddlebots.
I think if this game came out when it was, along a reasonable timeline for game development, then I definitely think from what I've heard that this game would probably be hailed as a goddamn masterpiece in a lot of ways. For, visuals and, the dog being a dumbass fucking dog thing.
Yeah.
Because that would work on the PS2 because they didn't know any better back then, but...
yeah, it still doesn't make it any, better.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying, is I just...
yeah, it'd be a lot more forgiving because the technology has improved, quality assurance has improved, and things like that. It's just the game feels like a PS2 game, and it feels like a PS2 game. Where you're sitting there being like, "Well, I understand it was this era in gaming." I really don't want that era in gaming back, by the way.
I mean, there's definitely some things that I like. You got a lot of weird-ass, awesome games on the PS2.
Oh, yeah.
Like, goddamn God Hand, I need to get a physical copy of that.
Yeah, some of my favorite games of all time are on the PS2. But it's just, because they were so well done, and they, held up, and it's because they didn't have that PS2 era feel.
So, something I will hammer on every time underrated, underappreciated games with the PS2 come up, I gotta bring up, what's it called? Rogue Galaxy. Rogue Galaxy is one of the best games I have ever played. It is so good. and it's criminally underplayed.
That's not an RPG, isn't it?
Yeah. Think if Kingdom Hearts was really, really good, and then you'd have Rogue Galaxy. So the story isn't shit. You're a bunch of space pirates going around doing space pirate things, and that's awesome. One of the guys you can have on your team is a giant bulldog man with a humongous axe and a chain gun for a hand.
That's pretty cool. But Jack, I'm gonna have to fire you again because now we don't have any Kingdom Hearts fans viewers, and now I'm really upset.
All right, let's. Because
now we have negative.
If ever we got on the topic of anime, you'd drive them all immediately away, anyways.
I don't care if fucking weebs can go kill themselves.
Did I lose you? Hold on.
No.
Oh, I did. I actually turned down the volume.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna lie.
Can kill themselves.
So Kingdom Hearts, I played through the first one and I liked it a lot, but I think the story is one of the worst stories I've ever played through in video games.
Oh, story's terrible. Story makes no goddamn sense.
But I enjoy the environments, I enjoy exploring the worlds, and I enjoy the RPG systems. But Rogue Galaxy has a good story. It's got better worlds, more interesting things. They've got a weird system where you like go around to the different worlds and you leave bug traps. Then they have like a turn-based strategy game with the goddamn bugs.
That's fucking great.
And it's really dope. And they had like the monster hunting system that they had in Final Fantasy XII, where you need to go to certain places at certain times, and then you can kill increasingly more ridiculous monsters. They had like boss fights where you'd have to like jump up platforms to get to specific parts of their heads. Like just go look this game up. It is an absolute masterpiece. Yeah, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, I know you've shown it to me before, but so speaking of anime, there was a JoJo game I downloaded the demo for yesterday. It's called JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Is either the Eyes or Gates of Heaven. I forget.
That came out recently, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out in June.
Let's see. Is it on Steam?
No, it's on PS4.
Okay, yes. Yeah. I saw Super Best Friends play it. That was it.
Yeah, it's not. It's one of those fighting games where it's just like it. Did you ever play one of the Naruto fighting games where you fucking run around in a circle?
I'm familiar with Arena Fighter. That's what they're called. I think. Yeah, I played Arena Fighters before.
It's that style of game which, I'm not into at all. I don't like it.
There are exceptions, I will say. Dissidia on the PSP.
Yeah, Dissidia was good.
Is so good, but that is far and away the best Arena Fighter I've ever played by miles. Not that Shrek game on the DS.
What?
Yeah, there's a Shrek game on the DS that was like that.
There's a Shrek Arena Fighter.
Yeah. Or did you ever play Power Stone?
Yeah.
It was like Power Stone. It's called Shrek Super Slam.
Power Stone is the quintessential arena fighter.
Yeah. It's a Power Stone ripoff, except you play as Shrek characters.
Okay.
I owned this game unironically. It was... I feel like if I went back and played it, I'd be like, oh god, this is the worst thing ever. But at the time, it was really fun, and they had a really fun minigame where I think it was mostly based off the second one. Mm-hmm. So there was a bit where you're playing the gingerbread man when he's like a giant, and you're just going around as the gingerbread man destroying a city, and that's fun.
Yeah, so this game was called Eyes of Heaven, so it was correct.
Okay.
It seems like a solid game.
Side note...
the cool thing is, even though the anime's not caught up yet, I think the anime's finishing up Diamond is Unbreakable, they have all the way up to the 8th arc, which is just bonkers, because the main character is in a sailor outfit, and is not buff at all. And it's pretty good. But I was looking it up, because I remember it's wait a minute, I have a PS4. I could play the, standard JoJo's fighting game. The 3D one they released a while back ago?
Sure, yeah.
I was oh man, I could play that. It's only on PS3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was really mad.
Oh, yeah, no backwards compatibility, because fuck you.
Yeah, Well, like, even then, it wasn't on the digital store, which was what I was checking. Because if it was the original one, I was going to play that and just fucking have fun. But
So, I just found through random searching that there's a free-to-play JoJo Bizarre Adventure game for phones.
Really?
I don't know if it's available in our country.
I'm about to just type in JoJo.
So, are you familiar with like the kind of like Pogs games they have on phones now?
Pogs?
Yeah, you remember Pogs,
Yeah,
the
I
little
remember
cardboard
Pogs,
disc
but like,
things?
how do you make a phone game out of that?
So the ones where you like shoot them around and when they hit things, they have different weird ass effects.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those.
Oh. I'm a little bit sad now. No, I'm looking up on the App Store, and I typed in JoJo, and nothing. So it's probably just like Japan region or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably Japanese only.
Or it could just be, Android.
So here's some customer reviews. The first one, this is actually a 1-star review from characters that I can't read, says, "By I be the hero."
By I be the hero.
Yes, and that was from, hold on, let's do Google Translate to find out who left this scathing 1-star review. That was by Genius-Based Garbage Management.
Ooh, I gotta take his word on it. Okay, now we should be back. So, what were you saying before?
Back. Yeah, if it was a... Oh, yes, I'm curious what Genius-Based Garbage Management, like, is supposed to translate to, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just that. He's a genius at base garbage management.
Like, it's probably like smart trash or something, or trash.
Smart trash.
Do they have Danny DeVito in Japan? Has he been exported yet?
Yeah, have we exported Danny DeVito to Japan? I'm the smart trash man. Is that racist? Just because he's in Asian culture, he's smarter now? Is that how that works?
No, because, alright, it's not racist because that's what the translation is. That's how it translates.
Oh,
so
I got
Google
it. So
might be racist.
If Danny DeVito was exported and he was smarter.
Yeah.
Okay, this is making way too much sense now. Alright. Yeah, so I was playing that. It was kind of disappointing. I don't like arena fighters that much. Or... I didn't like how this one felt or played and things like that. Seemed really cool though, because it had, like a lot. It's like it went all the way up to the manga, which is cool because now you saw like the manga characters like anime and shit like that. But
so, side note, this is something that's gonna explain it. It's made by the same developer as the Naruto games.
Yeah, it's well, I know Bandai Namco like publishes it.
Yeah, it's CyberConnect 2 is the company.
Yeah.
And I think so this apparently takes place right after Stardust Crusaders, and I love the Wikipedia article has Dio in all caps.
Yeah, it's important. You need to know if Dio is being Dio. But yeah, so it's like an alternate history of Stardust Crusaders where there's this thing that happens, and then like the people who die in Stardust Crusaders are like revived and stuff like that. It's weird.
Oh yeah, they get the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, they get the Dragon Balls, and then they're like, "Oh, great dragon thing, person, revive the people," and then they revive all the people. But yeah, I played that. It was fun. I mean, like, I can't get into it. I wish they had the original like standard fighting game because I would have bought that and played the shit out of it last night.
It was Arc Systems or something like that made
Not
it.
even Arc Systems, just like a standard fighting game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if one of the traditional companies made it.
Yeah, and then I played a bunch of games on Steam as well. Oh, I played Let It Die, which is another PS4 game. It's a Suda51 game.
Oh, I have heard about that, and I am in the I fucking love Suda51 camp.
Yeah, it's really good. I've been enjoying it so far. It's like a roguelike.
Yes. I do remember hearing about that. Oh my god, I like it just from the screenshots.
Yeah,
I didn't care for Killer is Dead, which I think was his last game. I didn't like Killer is Dead at
really?
all.
I liked Killer is Dead. That was a good game.
I didn't remember there being any like decent gameplay. I just remember running from room to room, seeing story. That in the weird times when like enemies would show up, it was mash a single button.
Yeah, there was some good gameplay in it. It's been a while since I played it. I really enjoyed it. The gameplay was again like mediocre. You know, it wasn't the best, but
yeah,
it was good for what it was, and considering it was released forever ago.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so definitely as a general rule, I really like Suda 51 games.
Yeah, Let It Die was fun. It's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes without saying.
No, like the gameplay itself is kind of weird.
Well, once again, that goes without saying. Did you ever play Killer 7? That game is like that is the weirdest game I have ever played. I love it, but it's weird.
But yeah, the gameplay is kind of weird. It's like a roguelike where you run around and you basically like kill a bunch of other people, grab their gear. When you die, it like spawns a hater, and the haters are like really harder enemies and stuff like that. But you can get like some of your gear back from when you died if you can get up back to that point. It's weird. That's kind of like a free to play game as well, because it's like from what I've heard and from what I've seen, like it doesn't seem super hard on like microtransactions, but like they exist.
I'll definitely check that out. Girlfriend's family has a PS4, and I'll definitely play it there.
Yeah, it's free to play. It's weird and interesting. Like you get stickers, and like you put the stickers on your body, and it makes you be better. Because of course it does.
It definitely looks like something I'd like a lot.
Yeah, it's a fun game. A little bit wonky. It has kind of a Dark Souls type of thing gameplay where you like attack, roll out of the way.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
The cool thing they have is like it's a stamina meter, but it's not really a stamina meter. You can see like your heart, and it will start like when you start expending stamina, you'll see like the outline of your heart and your thing, and it'll start glowing a different color and beating faster. And that tells you like, hey, you need to stop doing a bunch of stuff. Otherwise, you're going to be like tired out.
I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting way instead of just a bar, like it's on your character itself. But yeah, played Let It Die. That was fun. It's been fun so far. And then I played 2 Steam games. I played more Final Fantasy 15. It's Final Fantasy 15. Like I don't think we need to go over that. It's good. Yeah. They did a really cool thing with it though. There's a point early on where it's like, you know, if you go past this point, you won't be able to, you know, continue on. Are you sure you want to continue? And they did that part really well, because you're like, oh, this is gonna happen. No, it's actually something a lot bigger that happens, and they kind of mask it very well.
So the one thing I would like to talk about that reminds me of that I heard for Final Fantasy 15 is they're planning on having like a lot of offshoot stories, I think, as DLC that's gonna then focus on each of the other main characters in the story.
Yeah,
which
I definitely like that. Because what I've seen is like, you know, all the characters and things like that, they, you know, are really well written, and it would be nice to see kind of like, you know, where they came from and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I love stuff like that definitely fleshes out your world and makes it not necessarily feel more real, but feel like there's more to it.
Yeah, no. It's real interesting. Like they also had I guess we can talk about it a little bit more. They had the patch where they were gonna like fix up some story parts to it and stuff like that. Like I don't think that patch is out yet, but they were going to like kind of patch the story to make it explain it a bit more from what I can hear, and make that like chapter a bit more interesting.
Yeah,
and it's one of the later chapters too.
That's really interesting. Because that's not something a lot of people like to do, especially with video games, is to outright change stuff like that. To for lack of a better term, to Lucas it up.
Yeah, I don't think they're going full George Lucas and just changing like a lot of stuff. I think they're making it a more kind of in-depth story to it.
Yeah, I definitely like that they're willing to do that, though,
Yeah.
That they're willing to say, maybe we can improve this. I mean, it's happened a couple of times before, with Mass Effect 3 had that free...
Yeah, but that didn't really change too much of the story. It was still, like, kind of the same, wasn't it?
Honestly, I didn't play it.
They just kind of, like, justified the ending a bit more, didn't they?
I honestly could not tell you. Funnily enough, like, all of my play in Mass Effect 3 was the multiplayer. Because the multiplayer was a really solid horde mode.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I never really played it, so I don't know. I just, I've heard. But, yeah. Final Fantasy 15, really good game. Blew me out of the water. I don't know what else to talk about. They need to stop doing things so we can stop talking about it.
One of these days.
But, oh god, the character designs, like, you're generally fighting, like, normal, like, human-type, robotish characters, and you're like, these are kind of boring. Then you get in, like, a dungeon, you're facing, like, some Spider Queen-looking, like, crazy thing, and you're like, I want more of that! It's so ridiculous. But yeah, so that's Final Fantasy 15. I played Momodora, or however you want to pronounce it.
Momodora, that sounds familiar.
It's like a spritey based game. Momodora Revere Under the Moonlight.
Oh yes, yeah, Reverie Under the Moonlight.
Yeah, Reverie.
Let's see.
But yeah, that game's interesting. It lends itself to, I'm not going to sit down and play this in, straight through. It's kind of very basic in that regard. Like,
this looks very Metroidvania-esque to me.
I guess. I don't know. I put in 20 minutes. I was like, oh, this is good for now. And then, it seems the way the gameplay is playing out and what I've been doing, it kind of seems to really kind of lend itself to only playing it, like, 20 minutes at a time. Get to the next chapter or get to the next save point. Because there haven't been any, like, health items or stuff I can pick up. And when you die, you get sent all the way back to the checkpoint. Right. So it kind of almost becomes like, I need to get to this checkpoint. But
yeah, I mean, whether it is or is not, like, a like full-on Metroidvania, just that general kind of that tense feeling of, oh god, I need to get to the next checkpoint. Yeah. Where is the next checkpoint? Is very Metroidvania to me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it feels kind of like a Mega Man game, but you only can melee things. Where it's punishing. Well, Mega Man had health pickups. There's no, like, health anything as, in 20 minutes into it. Bosses are kind of cool. They're kind of easy to understand. But yeah, it's a lot of just, like, get to the next checkpoint. There's no going back to areas, or it feels like you go back to areas. It feels like a very linear progression.
Right.
But yeah, that game's fun. It has really good pixel artwork. I've heard good things about it. I'm not overall impressed. It's still a good game from what I've played, but I'm not, like, super, like, this game's really good. I'm glad I got it for, like $6-8.
Yeah. I mean, definitely for the price point, that definitely sounds like it's
oh yeah, for the price point, it's really good. But yeah, it's just one of those games where you're just like, I could, do more, maybe it's just because of where I am in the game, but it feels like when you die, it's more of just like, oh fuck, now I gotta run through all this crap again.
Yeah, a little outdated in the respawn tech.
Yeah, it just feels like, oh, I died. Well, I'm just gonna run past all of this stuff and not even bother, or try to run past it, or kill the things I know that are going to hit me before they hit me.
Right.
So it feels like, once you've gotten to an area, there's no real point of killing the things again. It's just like, alright, what do I need to kill? What can I not kill? And then just, hop past, skip and jump, and try to get to the next board, so then, you have a new set of enemies, so then you can kind of plan out your attack.
I guess part of the problem that it sounds like with that is more of a game design problem, because thinking back to Metroidvanias, when you backtrack, you don't mind dealing with the same enemies again and again because they generally die in no more than a few hits.
Well, the enemies also die in a few hits, but it's just like some of the lengths between the checkpoints are relatively long, and you're just like, I just need to get to this next board. I don't care.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get hit, it kind of feels cheap. In some regards, it kind of feels like cheap, where you're just like, I thought I should have been able to hit you, but then you hit me. It gets annoying.
Which reminds me, I don't know if I saw a GIF recently of the nerfed Vega in Street Fighter V for his, I think his hard punch range, and it was just a screenshot, and it just showed like the yellow after effect of him slicing his claws, going straight through Ryu, and like he was just standing there, like he didn't hit him. Like, you have to be up somebody's butthole to hit him with that hard punch.
It seems like they nerfed Vega. But, I guess we could go into the next topic. Still have one more game I want to talk about, but we can talk about it after we talk about the Street Fighter V. Season 2, bunch of new changes, and all this crazy shit.
Yeah, and Street Fighter V, I think, has kind of gotten a bad rap. Everybody's like, it's released so god-awful, it's terrible, it's awful. I'm like, well, yeah, they released it so people could practice for tournaments.
Yeah, I still don't think that's, like, a good enough, but, like, I'm reading it here, the changelog is, like, 92 pages long.
Yeah, they're adding they've been adding characters faster than I can keep up with, honestly.
Yeah, and then they added frame data for like every single move, apparently. Like all the frame data for like all the moves is changed, which might explain the 92-page changelog.
True. They're adding Akuma.
Akuma's out. I think season
Goken,
2's
I think,
out.
is supposed to be coming in soon.
Yeah, season 2's out, so Akuma's out, I think. I've seen people play Akuma. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it, seems like they changed a bunch of stuff. I mean, other than just, like, nerfs and Akuma, and, just kind of boring number changes on, frame data, it doesn't seem like they changed much of like the base gameplay.
Sure.
It seems mostly, well, hold on. I think they so they changed jabs, so this was a kind of a more in-depth problem. You could jab people out, out of the air. So instead of having to do a dragon punch, or a shoryuken or whatever, you could just jab, and it would be a lot quicker, and you could knock somebody out of the air with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big change, and that's a pretty necessary change.
Yeah. They also seemed like they kind of made the game a bit more faster, because now your gray life, whenever you block or something, that recovers twice as slowly as before.
Okay, and it wasn't super fast before, from my memory.
No, I think they're making it faster, so, if you have, like, a lot of chip damage coming out, you're going to want to go in instead of, maybe playing it safe so you can get all of that chip damage out. Akuma's out. A bunch of nerfs to people's frames. Oh, apparently they nerfed the shit out of Aramika from this article.
Boo.
The hardest hit character was Aramika.
I will admit I did see some ridiculous shit with Armika, but still, Armika is one of my favorite new characters.
Yeah, she was in like Alpha 3, I think.
I think like literally every character to ever be created was in the Alpha series at some point.
You're not wrong, but apparently they moved some of her like more trickery kind of stuff, wall splatting people and like bouncing them back so you could just chain combos off easier. Apparently, like they kind of moved that stuff to the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, but the real question is, is this enough to get you back into Street Fighter?
Well, fighting games and stuff like that are definitely something I play on and off as a general rule. I'll be in the mood to play a lot of them for a little while, and that's what I'll do. I didn't stop playing Street Fighter because I stopped having fun with Street Fighter. I stopped playing Street Fighter just because I stopped playing Street Fighter. Yeah. Everything that I like about it is still there. Everything that's real fun is still there, and I'll definitely be firing it up at some point in the near future. I like it more than 4, definitely. Like I definitely don't have the same level of dislike towards 4 as you do, but I definitely like 5 more than 4.
I just didn't like 4 because it was this huge jump from being a 2D game to being a 3D, and then all the changes I did not like at all.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say that would maybe make me want to play 4 over 5 is the loading times are still ridiculous in 5.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Like,
I'd still rather be playing Third Strike, though.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, Third Strike is the best Street Fighter game, no question.
Yeah. But, I don't know, 4 was interesting.
It still had a lot of the stuff I like about Street Fighter. It still has that strong emphasis on the fundamentals of fighting games. That is a big part of why I like Street Fighter so much.
Yeah, definitely. It's just I just couldn't get behind it. The changes, I didn't like that you could only do your super if you got hit. I didn't like that your super was a comeback mechanic at all.
Yeah. Yeah,
because then how are you supposed to raging demon somebody,
who's
being a little shithead and it's terrible at the game?
True.
Like, you can't do that shit.
I saw a great little video of like somebody's like 90-year-old grandmother raging demoning someone, and it's great. Fight stick and everything. She was a fucking legit ass granny.
Yo, dog, she spent so much time in that arcade. But the Killer Instinct guys are starting to work on some season 4 stuff.
Season 4 Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
That is another game I regularly go back to.
Yeah, I haven't been playing a lot of fighting games recently.
Yeah.
It's just been so busy and just ugh. But
sure, yeah, and you have to, fighting games are more fun when you have people to play against.
Yeah, exactly. Like Revelator came out on PC, and I still haven't picked that up because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But they released a new character, or they're teasing a new character rather, for season 4, and it's Kilgore. It's the first like prototype, and instead of hands, it has machine guns.
What?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, so it looks like a really old like Fulgore type thing, but instead of like the claws and hands, it just has machine guns, and it goes rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat. And it's uppercut, like it uppercuts, but then it finishes it off with, shooting a couple of rounds of the like minigun.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They also released an alternate retro costume for Thunder. It's like, the old style one, but the old style, is kind of a little bit racist.
A little bit
racist. But they've been working with some tribe. I forget the name. Do I have it? Alright, I don't have it. I was reading it, but they released they've been working with a tribe, and
that is so cool.
Yeah, so like everything's like super authentic of how they would have done it. They like went over the weapons. His hairstyle is very much like what the Native Americans would have, the face paint and the like everything.
So I think one of the big things I love about that is, so they look at it, they went back to, they're like, all right, this is racist.
Yeah.
Instead of, they could either change them completely and piss off original fans, or keep the design and be racist. So instead they're like, how could we put a little bit of extra effort in to not be racist and have the people who like the original like it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they did basically that, and it worked fantastically. Like his hair, like I'm not saying anything bad. It looks a little bit weird, but whatever. Yeah. It's their hairstyle.
Sure, and that's the cool part. Not to mention, like, you get to learn about whatever the fuck this Native American tribe is, and learning's cool, dude.
Yeah, man, learning's pretty cool. I'm so glad I learned all that stuff so I could just forget it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me see if I can't bring it up. Because I was reading it. I don't know why I didn't save that article. Just fucking up. Oh god, I'm gonna be fired next.
Oh.
Now next week I won't be, I won't be paid in ducats.
We'll have to switch to dollary dues.
Oh no. If anybody's in Australia, I want to know your opinion on dollary dues and why your money should be called dollary dues.
So, what was I going to go into? What was the next topic? Where's our Discord?
I think I found it. Here we are.
Oh, Icy. Icy was next on the list.
Yeah. I was going to talk about that.
Yes. I heard really good things, is how I'd started it off.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, short. Here we go. You are what you take care of the value of giving yourself to others, ensuring that your family, your friends, and your community are living their best lives, reverberating through. We sat in the Cultural Resource Center in Lapwai, Idaho, amongst piles of Nez Perce. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Nezperce, but the E has a symbol above it. So it's whatever, that kind of tribe, and then they had people representing them and going over how he should look, how his hair is, the beads in his hair, the necklace, just everything basically.
So I'm looking at it now. I don't know what you're complaining about with that hair. It looks like he has a pompadour, and that's dope as fuck.
So I looked at it in game, and it looks a little. I think it's just the angle. Yeah, from a screenshot I see online, it does look like he has a pompadour, and it looks amazing. But it's just that one angle in the screen, it looks a little bit weird.
Okay. But yeah, either way.
Icy.
Yes, Icy.
That game is a metagame, kind of like action. It's like if you took the Stanley Parable and mixed it in with Dust and Elysian Tale, and you kind of get that.
It's also made by one guy too, isn't it?
Yep. If I remember correctly, it's a Japanese thing, so everything is in Japanese except
Actually,
subtitles.
I think it's Chinese. Now that I'm thinking about it.
No, it's Japanese.
Is it? Well, the OST is free on Steam either way.
Yeah, it's Japanese as far as I can tell, because
Oh no, developer Shanghai Phantomblade Network.
That's weird, because I could have sworn like they may share some words in Japanese and Chinese then, because I could like pick out some words he was saying and like tie it to other stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a Chinese dude who made it.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just racist now.
Either way, Dust plus Stanley Parable.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Dust plus Stanley Parable. It's a pretty short. I got through a bunch of
gorgeous.
So what? Oh yeah, the game's gorgeous.
The art is gorgeous.
Yeah, the game is gorgeous. I just got through I got through a bunch of alternate endings, which they're pretty hysterical because it's kind of that metagamey type stuff. But
sure, like half the time he's like, "You didn't do what I said. You're a goddamn idiot." And sometimes it's, "Oh, you didn't do what I said. Here's the reward." Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. I put in shy of 5 minutes of 2 hours into that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing through Steam.
It's pretty short.
And
there's still
that's
some
what I was about
alternate
to
endings.
ask you.
Yeah.
Is how many alternate endings there were?
There's a good amount, and you can get to them as long as you don't like doing what people tell you to do.
Sure, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 I've done. I'm pretty sure there's a couple more. But there's a bunch. There's 6 and then the normal that I've done. So I did like 7 endings. And that was, still 2 hours.
Yeah, that's really short.
I also did another achievement where it's just like, oh, kill this person because, the guy tells you to, and I didn't. And I waited it out. And I think that was supposed to be like an entire fight, and I didn't do it.
Yeah. So then the question I'd ask is it like to the point where like a game like Beautiful Joe, for example, is to where you can just play Beautiful Joe over and over and over again just because it's so fun to play? Does the gameplay quite hit those levels?
I'd like to go back to it. I'd say there's not anything like insane about the gameplay that makes you kind of want to just go back and play it again. Like Beautiful Joe's, because you could speed up and slow down time and stuff like that.
I think it was just because the combat was so fun and they gave you so many tools to do stuff.
I mean, there's tools in this one, but it's not as like fun to just stick around with that combat system.
Whereas that was the point of Beautiful Joe, and that's what Beautiful Joe was designed around.
Yeah. What is it? I played on easy because I accidentally locked in easy. So they tell you like, what do you want in your game? Do you want this? Do you want this? And I was like, yes, yes, yes. Because I didn't know how to play the game, and it's like, you have chosen easy, and there's no way to like change it. So I played on easy. So that might just, the length could just be because I played on this pretty easy difficulty.
Okay, and there is that kind of design philosophy where these games where it should be just ridiculously punishing.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can't change that difficulty and actually get into the game's probably a lot longer. it's more kind of what you make it, because it
right.
From what I can tell, it seems like it's going to be a really short game if you just kind of step through and do everything that the narrator tells you to do.
But yeah, there is those lots of times where you're not necessarily supposed to do that. Lots of nooks and crannies.
It's what you make of it. I think there's a bunch more alternate endings. Like there's a boss achievement I didn't get. Actually, I think there's 2. There's a couple other things you can get, but I did a bunch of the stuff on easy, and it was a fairly short experience. But it was really fun. I do want to go back and play on a harder difficulty to see if that might pad out the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there was another game within that game, like, entirely, that I wouldn't mind seeing, like, a standalone game of that.
What was it?
You can jump, and he was just like, you obviously don't like killing people, so here, how about you just jump around? It's simple enough. You won't die. Don't worry about it. Then he's like, what? You still died? You're an idiot. I'm gonna go back and, like, to the kitchen and get something to drink. You go on and continue playing the game. Let's see if you've actually passed this by the time I get back. And it's just a fun little game where you jump and you have to hit the lanterns, and the lanterns, like, pop you up. But if you touch, like, the leaves, you die. And it's kind of like floaty mechanics. That could be like a fully fleshed out game, and that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, that does sound like, or just have that as like a kind of game mode, you know, for a standard game like that, where play the whole game except you can only jump now.
That would be terrible. But yeah, artwork's fantastic. Gameplay's really good. Length is really short.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be my, just from an outsider looking in, that's my biggest turnoff. Is the price point is fairly low at only $11, but $11 for 2 hours of gameplay is that's not great.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, I like a lot of shorter gameplay experiences, but the price, you know, has to be good for that.
Yeah. What the fuck is Vanuatu?
What?
So the location, it's Vanuatu for where I just got a call from.
Yeah, Vanuatu. You never heard of Vanuatu?
I think it's Vanuatu, maybe?
Nah, don't be ridiculous.
So Vanuatu is a South Pacific island nation made up of roughly 80 islands that stretch about 1,300 kilometers.
Yeah, dude, they gotta tell you that your shipment of gold has arrived. They just need your routing number.
So that's where I just got a call from. And, like, I wouldn't have brought it up, you know, just silenced my phone and gone on.
But it's like, what the fuck?
The location is so weird. Yeah, it's northeast of Australia.
Thanks, Jack. Now we've lost our Vanuatu listeners. I'm gonna fire you double next podcast.
It would be funny if it was just you got one sale. It's from the island nation of oh no. Yeah. So population of less than 300,000. There's
like more of that in like our tiny like town.
I know. I think Richmond's population is higher.
Oh yeah, no, like the population of like Fairfax is higher.
Hold on, they left a voicemail.
Oh boy.
Hold on. So
I thought you were gonna play the
what
voicemail.
I'm confused about. Hold on. I just wanted to make sure it didn't have like any personal information for us. Right. I don't think it does. But apparently it's about a job opportunity. That's just a little sketchy.
Let's see. You don't want to move off to an island nation?
Okay, that's weird. Okay, I do think this is still a scam, but so the Vanuatu is where it said it came from when it was calling, and now looking at it from not there, it's coming from Georgia, supposedly.
No.
Hey Jack, this is Rodney here. I'm calling from ESK Staffing. This call is regarding a job opportunity for you as an application support analyst or IT support in Hendon, Virginia. I have received your response in Indeed, so I just want to talk to you regarding the position. And I have just sent an email to you with complete information. If you are interested, you can either respond back to my email or else give a call directly to my number. My number is 6. Thank you and have a great day.
Great, now I need to edit out that number. Great, more editing work for me. Thanks, Jack.
Sorry. But either way, that'd be nice, but that's pretty sketchy.
Yeah, that's super sketchy. He sounds like Indian, but he also sounded Canadian because he said a boot.
So part of what I'm finding sketchy here is call came from Island Nation, and then it said it came from Georgia, and then he's saying
Herndon.
It's from Herndon.
Yeah, that's no. Yeah, so that's we can't. No. Steam sale front page is now actually loading for me. Anything you're interested in getting on the Steam sale?
Many things have caught my eye today.
Oh, yeah?
That I've been looking at. So, I don't know why, but Steam has correctly gotten it in its head that I fucking love board games. So, it's shown me a lot of stuff like that. I don't know if you remember, it was like Goblins Incorporated or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Goblins Inc. Like that is what it was called. It showed me that. I heard good things about that. That definitely looked cool. What else was there? Oh, Jotun's on sale. I remember watching you play a bit of Jotun.
Mm-hmm.
And just the hand-drawn art for that is just so cool.
Was it pronounced Jotun? I thought it was like Jotun or something like that.
From what I hear, it's Jotun.
Whatever.
A's are Y's. I don't know. I could be completely wrong.
Great. Now we've isolated more of our audience, Jack.
Yeah, there goes all of the Vikings.
There goes all of our Nordic viewers. No, yeah, that game was real fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was hand drawn. They're working on a second game now, and it looks, the same kind of like polishy, hand drawn type stuff. It looks great.
Yeah, let's see. Thunder Lotus Games. I'm wondering if it'll show up on Steam.
I don't.
Sundered is the other game.
They actually put it up on Steam.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Sundered looks really good.
Also does look really, really good. Yeah, just but literally all they have is this is Jotun again.
Yeah.
Is what I'm seeing from it. Let's see. Features beautiful hand-drawn art, massive boss fights, dynamic encounters against hordes of enemies, a mixture of handcrafted and procedural levels, corruptible abilities, multiple endings. Sounds very fun. And that actually reminds me, whatever happened to Eater, if you remember that? It was like EITR. Yeah.
It's still in development. I think it's getting closer to coming out, but it's still not out yet.
Because I definitely love the pixel art for that. It looks so good.
Yeah, they don't have like a hard release date on there yet. There's still if you go on their Steam page, it's just a Steam page.
Yeah.
But that game's been in development for a long time. And it's kind of like Dark Souls and Diablo because you have different style loot and the combat is where Dark Souls comes in. You know, where it's about dodging and kind of strategic elements.
I mean, it'll at least probably come out eventually, because it's not like it's just the indie team. It's being published by Devolver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they finally... I think originally it was just an indie team, and then they got picked up by Devolver. But I don't remember. Right.
Which, side note, Devolver is fastly becoming one of my favorite indie publishers.
Yeah, no, they're a real good publishing house. They definitely take care of the people they hire on.
So just a few things popping off the top that I noticed that they published: Shadow Warrior 2, Enter the Gungeon, Hotline Miami, Downwell, all just...
They also published Talos Principle, which is an amazing puzzle game.
Yeah, I find chances are if I find a random indie game and I'm like, holy shit, this is one of the best things I've played in a while...
It's probably Devolver, yeah.
It's probably Devolver.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Or they're a really good publishing house, rather. But, yeah, so Eater's coming out sometime before the heat death of the universe. Speaking of which, I think Pit People, the new Behemoth game, I think that's their timeline for when it's coming out.
I mean, that's generally their timeline for games, isn't it?
No, like I think it says on Steam. Oh, it says early access now. On Steam, it said, you know, for the when it's coming out, it said before the heat death of the universe. That was its actual Steam release date.
That's great.
Ooh, Pit People Steam early access in January 2017.
Yeah, I was about to say, they usually take a while for their games in general. This does look awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a it's a good like what you call it? It's not turn-based. It's SRPG.
It's turn-based. I'm looking at it.
There we go. Yeah, it's an SRPG game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I see. I'm super hyped for that. I've loved every single game that they've come out with.
Yeah, it's been real good. I played it the last 2 RTXs that it's been there.
Yes.
And it's been nothing but fun. Like, they keep tightening up stuff. I don't know what's taking them so long, other than I guess just polish and making up the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, you never know, or they could be trying to add some last minute features.
Yeah. But yeah, the Behemoth never is disappointed.
Yeah, Castle Crashers is one of my favorite beat 'em ups just of all time. It's so good.
It's real good. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater, the other 2 games, are $3 on Steam during the winter Steam sale.
I'd buy them again if I didn't already own them. And I had already bought Castle Crashers before too.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it when it was out on the 360, and I played it until my fingers bled.
Yeah, the game's real good. Battle Block Theater is really nice, like kind of puzzly game. But yeah,
especially 13th. If you want to hate your friends.
Oh yeah, January 13th is when Pit People gets out of early access, or goes into early access rather.
So what that reminded me of, and I was curious if you knew any updates about the new game from the team that made Transistor and Bastion.
Oh, about Pyre?
Yes, Pyre.
I mean, other than that they've had a playable demo, no.
I didn't know that they had a playable demo though.
Yeah, it's real good. I think they just kind of... I don't think you can get on like Steam or anything like that, but they take it to like PAX, and they took it to RTX. Game's fun. Like, you can tell it's made by Supergiant Games. Like, it's...
Right.
Oh god, it's so good. Real interesting. The story seems really in-depth. They've made this world where, you know, you want to figure out more because you don't really know much about the world. It's real good.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been the really big strength of Supergiant Games.
Nah, man, the real big strength has been that it's brought me to tears at the very end every single game. I'm like, who's gonna die this time?
So we're both wrong. The real strength is the soundtracks.
Dude, don't get me started. Darren Korb is a goddamn genius. I was talking to the guys at RTX to see if Darren Korb was going to be on the soundtrack this time around, and he was doing the soundtrack, and then I asked about I forget her name. It's like Ashley something.
Oh, the singer?
Yeah.
It doesn't say there.
Yeah, I can't find it. I think it's like Ashley Barrett or something like that.
Let's see. Lynn Barrett.
Yep, I was close. It was something Barrett. No, it is Ashley Barrett.
Is it? Why did it say? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
it said Lynn.
So I was right.
Oh,
so
Ashley Lynn Barrett. Okay.
Yep, there we go. So that entire segment was completely useless. Good. Other than it opened up the soundtrack in another tab, even though I didn't want it to. But yeah, the soundtracks are amazing. There wasn't that much. Actually, there was music, and the music was really good, but it was kind of in the background, and you just get lost in this world, you know. The best music is almost never heard.
So,
you know, and speaking of, you know, like, the music just kind of starts blending in with the game, and you kind of never pay any attention to it.
I completely agree, and I hate to derail things completely for just a second, but so that voicemail that I got, the reason why he almost sounded Canadian is one of the official languages of that island is French. So that's probably where that came from.
Oh my god.
I should contact their tourism office and be like, hey, you guys called me. Don't scam me.
Stop scamming me. But yeah. So I think the last thing we're going to talk about before we hit the 2-hour mark is probably Dawn of War 3. So new trailer
Dawn of War.
came out
There's
that.
more information on Dawn of War 3.
Yeah, there's been a lot. It's never hit the limelight. So Dawn of War 3 is kind of going to be a mix of 1 and 2. So you're going to have kind of the smaller squad-based type stuff. You know, you're not going to have a lot of units, but you're going to be building all your, buildings and things like that. So you actually end up building the buildings, but your units are more kind of smaller.
Okay.
Like, you don't have a lot of them. Like, I think it caps out, from what I've heard, fairly quickly.
That might be relative, because I'm looking at a screenshot. I don't know if this is from the single-player campaign, but there's a lot of dudes.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Dawn of War 1, like...
Oh, yeah, it was swarms and swarms.
Yeah, it was swarms of dudes. Like, this is a lot less, but it's still a lot more. But...
Yeah. So, one thing I need them to make a return is the orcs need to be in it. And
they are in it.
So, one of the most nostalgic games of my youth that I can never play again because it's probably awful is Warhammer 40k game Final Liberation. It was modified Warhammer 40k epic rules, I believe. But I will never forget that the orc mechs had a weapon called the Super Lifted Droppa that would literally just kind of pick dudes up and throw them around, and it looked so silly. It was my favorite thing ever.
Yep, that sounds like orcs. But yeah, gameplay is starting to look up really good. They've released a bunch of trailers for it, surprisingly enough, about the orcs. they've revealed the humans, and they've revealed oh god, why am I drawing a blank here? The other people.
Imperial Guard or Space Marine?
No, not Space Marines. That was the humans. They revealed the alien people, the dancers and shit like that.
Oh, the Eldar.
Eldar, there we go. Couldn't remember that name. But yeah.
So, the only things that I'm sad about the Warhammer 40k universe that I think they need to bring back from vanilla Warhammer is they need the Skaven back, and they need the dwarves back.
They're all dead. They've explained that before. In times happened. They were all dead. I think they nuked Earth. I think that was like in the books that they nuked Earth because the Skaven had just taken over completely.
So, also speaking of the Skaven, there has been a new expansion release for Vermintide, which I haven't put a lot of time into Vermintide, but like I've loved the time I have. It's I like it in a lot of ways more than what's it called? Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah, no, it has like that progression thing where you feel like you're progressing in what you're doing. Like the stuff you're doing is important because they kind of chain you along with like these items and doing things.
So I'd say one of the big things is the only thing that kept me coming back to Left 4 Dead is wanting to play more Left 4 Dead, which, you know, granted isn't nothing, but still.
Yeah. The things that got me back and keep going back into those games was playing it with other people. Like, that was honestly it. Because I didn't like... Yeah. Those games lend themselves to playing with people, and if you don't play with your friends, like, you kind of lose interest really quickly. But they released a couple new maps. They released a Dwarven map, I think?
Yeah, I think that's the general theme of the expansion, is kind of dwarves. Let's see. I'll pull it up on Steam real quick.
Vermintide. It's also $10 right now.
Ooh, that is a
really fucking deal.
Good deal. And if that's not good enough for you, then Vermintide is the game of the month on Humble Bundle Monthly.
Yeah.
Oh, there was 2 DLCs. I missed.
There's been a bunch.
Drakenfels.
Yeah, Drakenfels, and then the unpronounceable Shalos.
Yes, I'll definitely have to get both of them eventually.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Karak as Garaz.
Yes.
But, what is it? Yeah, it's a lot more Dwarven themed. You kind of go to the hills or the mountains of Karak, and, yeah, those were words. It's just Dwarvish. Like, I'm pretty sure anything Dwarvish, you have to be drunk to even begin to pronounce it correctly.
Legally, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a new map. Nope. 3 new maps. A bunch of different weapon types.
Yeah.
And more achievements.
But I need to get this so I can relive my memories of the first Lord of the Rings movie. And piss off everybody I'm playing with.
Yep.
By saying, and they call it a mine every 2 minutes.
Yep, that'd work. But yeah. So that's real interesting. Yeah, that's out now. It's like, what, $9?
$10.19, I believe it was. When I looked at it.
It's $9 on No, $10.19 for the game. The DLCs.
The expansion is $9.
Yeah. I kind of really want to pick it up, but at the same time, just like I got other things I need to play.
That's true. I mean, I might just play more of the base game because I still haven't seen a lot of the base game.
Yeah, they have the Last Stand expansion where it's kind of, they all come to you and you try to make your stand. Which I haven't played, but
more standard horde mode.
Yeah, it's your standard, kind of you're in an arena thing. You need to run around and make sure you don't die. Live as long as you can. But yeah, they've been pumping out a shit ton of
not just DLC but content,
Yeah, like they've released a bunch of free content. Anything that feels kind of, short, it's free. Like they have like quests and stuff like that that weren't in the base game, they put for free. Anything where they add like new maps and like a lot of stuff, they charge like some money for.
And it's not that much either.
No, it's like the first one, the Schloss, the unpronounceable name.
Schloss.
Yeah, that was like $3, and then I don't remember them releasing Drakenfels. That must have just fallen under the radar, but that's probably relatively early.
Yeah, 3 maps.
Yeah, it came out May this year. 3 maps. Oh, I think it's vampire type stuff.
Yeah, that's what I got from the name and just glancing at it.
Yeah, it looks like it. Let's see. Yep, new map. Oh, wow. There's like three new maps. There's a darkness mechanic now. So now you have to kind of, bring a torch.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, spike traps, and then a bunch more new weapons.
Ooh. And that's the real fun.
Yep. Well, I think that about does it for this one. We're a little bit short on time, but, it's 2-ish hours. Yeah, they're not paying us. We both got fired.
Yep. So now I'm looking at jobs being offered by sketchy people from island nations who disguise their number.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, we're from Georgia, but actually Herndon. But really, we're from an island nation.
Yep. I need a computer background, but will train though. So yeah, that's nice.
It's true. But actually, let's fill out more of the air real quick. There was so the guy who created Rust kind of stirred up a bit of controversy.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary. Good old Gary.
What did he do?
He was like, people who are bored of playing Rust need to just stop playing Rust.
How did that stir up controversy? That's pretty fair. If you're bored of this game, just stop playing game and don't make it shitty for anyone else.
He's kind of pinning the blame of the game not being released on them. So he's talking about the vicious cycle where you'll be bored, you'll come back and play when all the new stuff comes out, and then you'll be like, I'm bored. And he's saying it's making it harder to pinpoint where the shortcomings of the game is, stemming from.
I can understand the frustration is how I'd put that.
Yeah, like I definitely understand it. He describes it as like a ping pong loop.
Yeah. I'd be willing to be harsher if it was another person, if that makes sense.
I guess so. I don't know this person and I don't care, so.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, sorry, he's one dude.
Oh yeah.
And he puts a fuck ton of efforts into his game. He worked on Gary's mod for like well over a decade before moving on to Rust, and put so much time and effort into it, to where it less comes across as, to me, as somebody being salty blaming the customer, and it more comes across as an indie developer expressing his frustrations in a very poorly worded way, which, let's be real, among indies that happens pretty often in comparison to the first scenario.
I think he actually put it pretty well. He's saying, I'm noticing a pattern and need to address it. It's something we need to get past as a community, not only because it's getting boring, but it has wider implications. Again, another call from Island Nations, apparently.
Yeah, this is Conyers, Georgia. And I think it's the same number.
Probably. We're stuck in a ping pong loop, he said. We released an update. You'll love it for a month. You'll get bored and blame the system, bitch for a few months, and then we release another update, and the same thing happens.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's just like, you know what? I feel bad for you. I understand what's going on. It's probably definitely happening like that. But you got to remember, your game's been in early access for almost 3 years.
Oh yeah, almost as long as early access has been early access.
Exactly. And honestly, I seriously don't think like you can kind of continue to say, you know, other people are delaying the release of it, because it, you know, like, it's 3 years. Them being like, well, I'm getting bored of this game, that's just happening because they've played a lot of this game. New update comes out, then they play it, and they're like, well, now I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like, it's been 3-4 years since, you know, Rust has been, like, released. You know, there's not a lot of sympathy I have left.
Sure.
You know, you get your game out, and then, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I think it's been in early access for too long, and that's the thing that's causing this, like, feedback loop.
And I think part of it is just like, I don't know, that's a game that kind of doesn't need to be in early access anymore, you know?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, it's been around long enough to where it's like, it has microtransactions, you know? You just release your game.
Yeah, no, it's just like, release your game, freaking.
But I feel that he necessarily doesn't directly put the fault on the community. He's just a frustrated indie dev to where this is the problem he sees at the moment. So he's kind of lashing out at that. Is it shitty? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But is how I'd put it. I mean, I'm not a Rust player. I have never played Rust, so I can't say I care that much either, you know?
I played a little bit of Rust, and I was just like, well, this game kind of runs like shit, because it's still not optimized. Yeah. It's been in early access, and I was surprised. Like, it was still in early access when one of my friends gifted it to me, and we were like, we need to play.
It was one of the first early access games, if I recall correctly.
Probably was. And then it's, like, changed so much and so dramatically. Like, I understand why, because when you break down all of your systems and rebuild them, it takes a real long time. Yeah. But, like, you know, you need to release this game and actually get it optimized.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's... You know, if you're interested in the game, you play regularly and still get enjoyment when you play. We're definitely interested in hear what you think, especially if you love hearing our stories, blah, 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 blah. If we want to leave early access, then breaking this loop has to be part of that plan. We have a pretty good idea of how to push forward with Rust, but none of it is going to make the game more appealing to people that have spent their last 1,000 hours hating it. Like, that's... Like, I just don't get it. Like, all in all, like, if you have your plan, just do it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's because his first game, like, wasn't really a game. It was
yeah, it was just a way to screw with the physics engine.
Right, and then, you know, all you have to do is keep screwing on with the physics engine and keep doing that and that over and over again until eventually it comes out. But, like, you know, with this one, like, he's not used to people being like, yeah, I put in a bunch of hours, but now I don't like it. I'll come back and I still won't end up liking it. Like, you know, props to the people, you know, who are still sticking around, like, liking it, but, you know, at some point you gotta realize, you know, that's not your audience. You just need to ignore a shit ton of that negative feedback. Especially if you're making this big of a deal out of it, then you can just weed that out and be like, all right, well, this is what we need to do to push forward. All right, now it's released.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. What can you do?
Yeah, it's not much, but anyways. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today.
All right, well, I hope everybody at home had fun listening.
I hope nobody sued us. That's my goal. I hope nobody sued us. We're gonna draft up some new contracts because both me and Jack are fired.
So we collectively pissed off small island nations in Australia.
We pissed off the majority of the Asian population in China and Japan. We pissed off Nordic and Viking people. And probably we.
Gary?
Yeah, Gary, he's definitely going to write a hit piece on us now, telling us how much he hates us. And that we're wrong. Much.
And we should just quit playing Rust.
Yeah, and we should just quit playing Rust like I did.
Yeah. And we'll update you on that next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.